Hello, everyone, and welcome back to QuipScope. It's the show where we've played a game and we talk about it. I'm Ben.
I'm Peter. Where are the quips?
Where are the quips?
Quip me now.
Quip me harder. Quip me swang into tomorrow. That's a weird Vine reference there for people who enjoyed being alive in 2016.
Oh, rip. It's TikTok now.
Rage 2. I don't know. A different conversation for a different time.
Definitely.
Rage 2. Rage 2. What do you know about Rage, Pete?
I know very little about Rage. Precious little. There's a lot of sort of... there's a whole host of games that just sort of blend into one in my mind because I've not played them.
2013 era.
Yeah.
2012 era.
Sort of action-y, you know... I don't know how sick... I'll tell you one thing I know about, certainly Rage 2, not Rage 1, is that Rage 2 seems like it's trying to be a bit kind of... Ben is dabbing across the table from me right now. It's trying to be a bit dabby. It's trying to be a bit, not Duke Nukem-y, maybe Bulletstormy, or like a bit Borderlands, or just a bit, you know, action, yeah, but it's kind of funny action, but also, there's some colours, and shall I get my dick out? No, I won't. I won't get my dick out, but
I'll tease it.
Here's
a bit of shaft.
I don't know if
not
Rage...
the whole thing, though.
No, definitely not. I don't know if Rage 1 was like that, but that's certainly how the marketing for Rage 2 has made me feel. So is that accurate?
Well, Rage 1 was very different.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Both published by Bethesda. Rage 1, developed by id.
Yes.
The Doom Boys and Girls.
Yeah, those ones.
And
ID,
so the game ID, yeah, identification.
Yes.
With their full game Doomthaniel, which is the full name, shortened to Doom. Rage 1 was far more muted.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous because obviously identity were involved. Creators of Doomthaniel. But it was, I think it drew a lot of, not necessarily criticism at the time, but it was certainly drew a lot of comparisons to not only Mad Max, but Borderlands, in that it sort of set up this kind of quirky post-apocalyptic wasteland scenario,
right?
But then ended up being a little bland. Characters weren't interesting. Story was nothing. Just wasn't particularly mind-blowing. I still enjoyed it, and as sort of perhaps proof of my insanity / how much I enjoyed it, I did get the Platinum Trophy in it.
Okay.
I really gave that game a very good go.
But then you are a Platinum Hunter. So
I am a Platinum Hunter.
Not necessarily
played a lot of games.
Yeah,
like that
you've played
time,
Hannah Montana twice. So
yes, yeah.
Just because you've got the Platinum in a game.
But what I mean is, I've experienced the full thing. I know Rage 1, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And Rage 2, it was kind of a surprise announcement. This time developed by Avalanche Studios, who do Just Cause.
Yes.
And still published by Bethesda. id, no involvement this time.
Okay.
Just it seems to be using similar tech, obviously, because it is a gorgeous game.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. The marketing has been very much how do you do fellow kids. It's trying really hard to be quite quirky and strange and colourful. And fun.
The first I saw of the marketing, other than just general kind of announcements like it's coming and stuff, but like in terms of release week, the first I saw was a few days ago. There was this like very brief clip that they put on Twitter, and it said something like, Rage 2 is an ugly game. Like, this was their marketing. It was something like, the ugliest game in years. Find out in 2 days' time just how ugly, or just why we're calling it ugly, or something. And I think it was obviously not saying that there are graphical glitches and we've really badly textured the thing. I think it was like, you know, it's like the word sick or wicked or bad, you know?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
one of those. It's ugly.
Yeah. There's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I can't fault the marketing and PR teams for the amount of
fair
effort
enough.
they put in. I've just come off the back of playing 2 hours of it.
On your stream?
On my live stream. The live stream will be going up very soon, if not already, if
Today's
you want to see the full thing.
Launch day, right?
Yes. Yeah. So at the time of recording, it's launch day. And I cannot honestly see how that has transferred into the game or represents the game in almost any capacity.
Okay.
So it's an open world shooter, and I feel like with RPG elements, and I feel like what they've done this time around, rather than sort of being accused of almost ripping off Borderlands, they seem to have gone after Far Cry this time, which in its own way is trying very hard at the moment.
It is, isn't it?
Very colourful, you know. The thing I was struck with immediately with this game is that there are like 7 currencies in game for various things. I know there are microtransactions where you can buy the microcurrencies and stuff, but like there's 5 different currencies, lots of menus, lots of different things to do. It wasn't an immediate brilliant start for me because, and I may be alone in this, but I did get the backing of everyone who was watching the stream. When I left one of the starting areas, it told me to go talk to Lily. And I could see the marker for Lily. Lily was 25 meters away, but there was this huge pile of rubble between Lily and I. And I'd just come out of this room, and it opened me up into this courtyard that was really big. And I spent about 10 minutes running around this courtyard thinking, how on earth do I get over this wall to get to Lily?
Yeah.
And eventually I had to backtrack, and I found that there was a small staircase to my left that was not marked or signposted at all.
Oh.
And I had to go up there, and then it led me over the wall to Lily.
Right.
But then that begged the question, why on earth did the rest of this huge courtyard
why did
even
that exist?
And I was just saying that is insane level design. Like, I can't be the only person who immediately wandered into this area and got stuck. But yeah, like that was obviously a fairly linear bit from the start of the game.
Yeah.
But then it just opens up, and there's a million and one things to do on the map. You can go clear out outposts. You can go, all the traditional all of this stuff is kind of boring now, unless they do something special with it.
When you say open world shooter, the immediate thing that you probably think of is Far Cry.
Right.
Borderlands to an extent. I mean, it's still kind of segmented, right? It's not like it's not
a full open world. You have
just
to travel between areas.
There is a large world, but you travel from area to area. But yeah, Far Cry is the current probably leader in the open world FPS corner of gaming. And you're right that like they're also almost hamming it up at this point. Far Cry. I know Far Cry's never been completely serious and believable. Like Far Cry Instincts I used to play when I was a bit younger, and that had a thing where you would kind of had weird like animal traits in you, and you could kind of see like a predator and stuff like that. So it's never been like super serious, but yeah, like the most recent was very I don't know, it kind of feels like something like Guardians of the Galaxy, or you could play some 80s music over the top of it and be having a good old time while you're gunning down all these die-hard Christians or whatever they were.
Sure, in Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5, yeah. That's not even the latest one, is it? But yeah, anyway. But yeah, like, so that strikes me as strange that they marketed it in that kind of silly, wild way.
Yeah.
But as soon as you sat down and started playing it, that's not actually the route they've gone development-wise.
It's not even that colourful.
Right.
Like, the marketing is, even the main menu is like pink and yellow and really bright. Not seeing that
pink
in game.
Is everywhere.
I headed straight for, and this is another thing, like as soon as it let me out in the open world and gave me a car, I had like 5 objective markers.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know which of these is a mission.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like at least to begin with, the games like these, they really need to... Games like this really need to sort of funnel you, at least a little bit, to give you some guidance about what to do next. So I headed to the next hub town, and for some reason, almost all of the NPCs, when you walk up to them, they've got their names, they appear on the screen. All of them are wrestling references.
What? Really?
Yes, there was like Ellie Armbar. There was Steph Rollins.
Right.
Like Seth Rollins, the wrestler. There were loads of them. Like every other person had a wrestling reference as a name. And I thought, this is super weird, but that's kind of fun. So I went around looking at all the names. And then later on, when I went to a different place, I encountered people with exactly the same names. So they just reuse the names. They've got like maybe 25 names, and then they just give them to everyone in the game.
What? So they're reusing names, but they're not even like original names because they're puns on wrestling characters.
Yeah, some of them are at least, yeah.
At least if you're going to reuse names, just make them generic so that they don't sort of stick out. But if you see that wrestling pun every 10 minutes, that seems like a really weird choice.
It was something Langstrom, Biggie Langstrom, and that relates to a wrestler who's called Big E, and his his name used to be Big E Langston, and then they got rid of his last name. It's just Big E now. There was Claudette Castagnoli, and Claudio Castagnoli is the real name of Cesaro, the WWE wrestler. There's all sorts of
what the hell?
Just thought that's so weird.
That's really weird.
It's a weird thing. Anyway, so after I went to that town...
Can I just say, what I thought you were going to say was, you went to the town where there were loads of wrestling pun names, and then you went to another town, and then it was like, actors from Wild West movies, or it was like, people from Star Wars, or that would have been more acceptable.
Maybe.
In a way.
I haven't got that far.
You've just
I've
been
only
to the two wrestling towns.
I've just been to the two wrestling towns where, for some reason, the guy who was in the bar at one wrestling town was also working somewhere else in another town at the same time.
You don't have to name all your characters. If you don't have enough names to go around, just don't show their names.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, strange choice.
Carry on.
So then I thought, right, let's go for... I went to one of the optional side things, and I got my ass kicked because they had the difficulty of the place and how tough the enemies were, and I was like, okay, I've died here a few times now. Let's go. Let's go to a story mission. And the words I said on stream were, story mission, it's going to represent the best of what this game has to offer. They're going to tailor it to, they're going to...
That's the bit that everyone has to play. It's going to be written
and scripted and good. And so I went there and it was just... I can't even remember it. I can't even remember what it was, but I think it was just killing people. Again, it was just kill a few people and then leave. And it was just... There was nothing really to it, and that was such a shame. Because I was really hoping for silly set pieces and stuff, and the dialogue between some of the NPCs I'd had so far, it was all very yes, son of a bitch, effing and jeffing and all that kind of stuff, really casually. Jeff Rollins, just really cool, again, how do you do fellow kids kind of stuff. That was the elements that I could see where they were I'm super laid back and super chill about this whole thing. Just killing people and stuff. Love it, mad for it, really cool. The arcs from the first game, so there are these sort of escape pods that have been triggered from some transport ship with people on or something.
Okay.
And they get dropped down, and it's basically kind of like the vaults from Fallout.
Right.
So you emerge in the first game, and you're basically a human pre-Wasteland.
I see.
And you're like, oh god, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you can still discover these optional arcs that have been dropped around the various places, and when you get to them, you put your arm into a little hidey hole, and you get given a special power. So I'm assuming the central thing revolves around you get it accumulating all these powers and stuff like that. So the two that I got was one which was a quick dodge where you can dodge left to right or forward, backward, any direction really, just super fast. Another one that I got at the end of the stream was a defibrillator one. So if you die, you get a little QTE, and if you press the buttons in the right time, you can defib yourself to get back up and carry on going. And I'm assuming there are loads of other ones as well. Mm-hmm. But one good thing that, I'll say one good thing, I don't want to sound like I'm just bashing on this game. This game is solid. Right. It's just there are other games that do what it does a lot better, and it does not reflect the marketing, in my opinion, the fun marketing that they were showing off. The shooting's really good. It feels weighty, and it was the same in the first game as well. The wing sticks that you can throw, which are these death boomerangs, basically, where they come back to you, and those are really cool. You're blowing stuff up. People are exploding all over the place. It's really good. The combat's really good. The guns feel really good. The abilities are really good fun. But then the world is just quite brown, and the missions aren't very interesting, and the NPCs aren't that engaging. The thing is, I enjoyed Rage 1, and I'm sure if I really sat down and gave Rage 2 a go, I would enjoy playing it through. Right. But it just feels even though it's Bethesda, it feels like the Ubisoft open world factory is still running, and they've churned this one out as well, where it's just populate the map with side stuff. Give people no real clear direction of what they've got to do. Yeah. Put hard enemies in early areas, so you have to come back to them later on. It all just feels very by the book. And yet it feels like some of the Ubisoft, open world machine, there's some positives to that kind of machine in that those games normally come out. I mean, sometimes they're really buggy on launch and they need massive patches. But for the most part, the worlds are fairly deep in terms of
there's lots of little details, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Like, you look at something like Assassin's Creed, I know that they literally reuse animations, but they're good animations, and you can be like walking along in a street in whatever historical context you're in, and you just see everywhere you look, there's like children playing with balls, and there's like people dealing drugs or whatever they're doing, just on the street corners, all sorts of things going on. But it sounds to me like, this game doesn't even have enough names to go around. And even the ones that are going around are weird wrestling puns. Sorry to go back to that point.
No, of course.
My point is that the Ubisoft machine at least churns out worlds where either not everyone's name is shown, but if they were, I think probably everyone would have a unique name in an Ubisoft open world game, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, it's like it's been churned out by that sort of money for old rope kind of formula, but not even been done completely correctly in that respect.
And it's not to say as well that, other games that are similar to this are faultless. Like Borderlands hub towns have always been quite crap. They've either got no one in them, or they're just NPCs that don't do anything leaning against a wall, and sometimes they'll say a line to you if you go up to them. Like there's nothing to that, but the core gameplay loop and the writing of Borderlands is really what sets it apart. And Far Cry is a similar deal.
Yeah.
This though doesn't. It seems to have some kind of identity crisis where it's not really sure what it wants to be. The core mechanics are good, but they're splintered off into by so many different currencies, like dollars and like upgrade points and all sorts of other stuff. And you can buy some of them as well with real money, which is not great.
No.
It's just weird. Like I came away from it feeling like quite tired, really, because I was like, I just don't like, even for the purpose of a stream where I could just literally go and do anything, it wouldn't really matter because I just want to explore as many different options as possible. I was like, I don't know what to do next. Like I don't really feel an urge to go and do any of this stuff. And it's a solid game. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing awful about it. This is not a Fallout 76. It's not broken.
No.
It works. It's just not great.
Yeah, it just sounds like, I mean, again, I can only say so much given that it's launch day and we've had the game for mere hours and you've just been playing it on stream. But, until I see more, it sounds to me like they've kind of nailed the combat to a certain extent, and the combat's super fun and maybe, under certain criteria, the visuals might be impressive, other than maybe all the brown. But, explosions and action and stuff like that, that's all fun. But you have to be able to build around that properly. You can't just say, this plays really well. Let's throw a world together. Let's scatter some objectives across this open world. There's more. You have to do more than that. You can't just build a game. It's like the inverse. It's kind of an inverse Elder Scrolls in a way,
right?
Which is, those worlds I find pretty compelling. I know there's plenty of issues with the voice acting and stuff like that, but there's a lot going on. But the gameplay has never been that great in Skyrim and Oblivion, especially when you now compare it to something like The Witcher 3. Yeah. So that's a game where they've built a reasonably enticing world, in my opinion, but actually the gameplay, when you look at the combat, they've not done a super good job of that objectively.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess what we're looking at here is just a game that's unfortunately not the complete package. It's some combat, but not a great world around it.
Doesn't really know what it wants to be. I suppose there are no stakes here. When you start the game, it's a standard fare kind of linear opening where there's a battle happening and lots of explosions and you're under attack. You and your crew of people who you've never met before, who you apparently have a strong bond with.
Yeah.
One of whom dies, Sergeant Mum.
Oh, Mum.
R.I.P. Literally called Sergeant Mum.
Get the camera.
And then she gets killed by a bad faction.
Okay.
And then it's a case of, I never thought the bad faction would come back. We need to do everything we can to stop the bad faction.
Yeah, with our
and then you
currencies.
go out into the world and it's like, I don't know what the purpose is of me doing this apart from playing this game. Like in world, I feel I don't care. Like, I don't mean that in a general sense about the game, like I don't care about the game. I just mean as the player put into this world.
Yeah, you're not gripped.
When you're set out, you're let loose on the open world with your car. I just sat there thinking, I don't know who I'm fighting for.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm fighting for them. My character has a voice, and clearly has a past, but I'm not privy to it, apart from the fact that they have a strong bond.
Yeah.
Two brothers.
Guys, they have a pretty
strong bond. Like, I don't know. Nice little thing that I wasn't expecting. You get to choose between a male and a female character at the start. That was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure the game will get better as it goes on, and I am certain that if I played more of it, I would enjoy it. And I'm sure lots of people will play it and really enjoy it. Hell, people played Fallout 76 and enjoyed it. I'm one of them. People played Anthem and enjoyed it. I'm not one of those guys, but people will play this and really like it. But while Far Cry exists, and while even Borderlands 1 exists, I cannot forgive this game for not knowing what it wants to do.
Yeah. I mean, even while certain linear FPSs exist, it sounds like, in some ways I'd rather play a linear FPS that has, an engaging story where I'm like, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing here. I've talked in the past about how much I enjoyed the original trilogy of Halo. That was the kind of FPS that I'd love to play again, where I felt like there was a real battle that was actually happening there, and I knew who my enemies were. That's why I went off the Halo games as they went on, because I was like, who are all these extra? I don't know what a Forerunner is. What's going on? And you're right. Like, while Far Cry and Borderlands exist, which are FPSs with an interesting open world or large world in the case of Borderlands, why would you kind of want to play a game that has good combat, but you need more than that?
There are just better games that do it better.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this will pick up steam as the game goes on, but certainly it did not make a strong first impression. Yeah. Please do let us know, though, in the comments if you're interested in this game, or even, in fact, if you were watching the stream, because a lot of people had some strong opinions while they were watching the stream.
Were they raging?
They weren't raging. There was a guy called General Cross, though, which I thought was fun. Again, that's sort of the extent of their going, tee-hee, aren't we mischievous? That was about it. Silly names, really. But yeah, lots of people have strong opinions on this game. Let us know if you've played it. Let us know if you're going to play it. Let us know if you're enjoying it. Like, I do want to know that, and I'm sure people are. That's the thing. It's a solid game. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's particularly excellent. And I will do my best to play more of it. I am going away on holiday, though, so that might be a little while before I get to do that. But as someone who enjoyed the first one, I will continue to give this a go and see if it grabs me. And I'll talk about it on the podcast at some point as well.
Good. Yeah. Well, until then,
do you want to do a quip? Got a quip?
I did ask
the
if
rage
people were
thing,
raging. Yeah.
And General Cross. So I suppose that's our one quip.
They've done their own puns as well with the wrestling people.
They
right?
have, yeah. No, you're right.
Well, not puns. They've just changed their names.
Ellie Armbar,
less
which
recognizable.
is just a move, the name of a move, but they've given it to a person.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Objectively, that's a funny thing.
Pretty...
Anyway, thank you again to Bethesda for supplying us with the code.
Yes.
It's important that we make that clear. And I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it in any regard. I'm just trying to speak honestly, like having literally played it half an hour ago. This is me coming straight to you and telling you how I found it.
Well, that's the thing. It's important to, obviously, in videos like this, it's always important to say if we've been offered a code from a publisher. But equally, it's also important, if you're not loving it, to say that you're not loving it, not just go, it was the best game I've ever played.
It's one of the best brown games I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, no. Thank you for your honesty, Ben.
Oh, my pleasure. I am a martyr, aren't I?
You are.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll be back with another QuipScope at some point. And if there's anything you really want us to try that's coming out soon, let us know and we'll see if we can make that happen and we'll do another one of these videos.
It's only a month until Crash, I think.
That's so exciting. Crash Team Racing. Love that game.
Yeah, me too. Well, we've not even played... Well, the old one, yeah.
The old...
Yeah.
It's a remake. It's going to be fun. Right, okay. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.